That was really loud. I felt so alone, and it was, I just broke down. I couldn't carry the weight of the backpack on my back anymore. I just didn't see a kind of, I didn't know where the project was going. The Isle of Harris is a short documentary which I made as my dissertation project. It is set on the Isle of Harris, which is a small island off the northwest coast of Scotland. I made it to look into the lives of a few of the islanders and see how different it was to an everyday life which we surround ourselves in.
Being from Harris, growing up here, Harris Tweed's always just been part of life. It's part of the identity, I suppose, of being from Harris.
I'd never really approached documentary filmmaking. I'd been more on the fiction side. I'd made a kind of few shorts that had gone into competitions and won, and I really focused my efforts on fiction because that's what I thought I enjoyed. I actually began making a feature-length fiction for my dissertation project, but in January I just realised I didn't have the heart for it, and I knew I wanted to go up to Scotland and do a documentary, and I planned on doing it in the summer after the course finished, but it kind of fit into the perfect time of I can make it now and I can use the resources I have at Screenology and I can do it as my dissertation project. The idea for the project kind of stems from my childhood, really. For years my family had been visiting the Isle of Harris. I loved the kind of raw, natural beauty of the island, the serene lifestyles that they had. It was so quiet. On Sundays everything shuts down and the island is yours. It's a playground of getting to climb up rocks and go on long hikes and see wildlife that you probably will never see down here in basic England. So the project stemmed from those childhood memories, and I wanted to go up there and just kind of document what I loved about the island. This project from the get-go really challenged me. I'd never really done documentary filmmaking before. I'd never really watched them, let alone make them. And it was a whole new world to have to get in touch with people and bring all of the research together to try and build a story before even going out there. The project kind of stemmed from me wanting to walk around the island, to camp along the way and to film along the way, and to kind of tie that into my own journey around the island and seeing the island for myself. On the second day of walking, I walked 18 miles with a massive backpack on my back, and I hadn't really filmed anything. I'd filmed a few landscapes and I hadn't met the characters yet. I was alone and I was in a space that I didn't know. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. I was completely disconnected from everyone, and all I had around me were hills and sheep. I felt so alone, and it was getting dark, and I just broke down. I couldn't carry the weight of the backpack on my back anymore. My body was physically hurting. I just didn't see a kind of, I didn't know where the project was going. I lost purpose in that moment. I lost, why am I making this? Yeah, I lost all faith in the project and myself. But then from that moment, I picked myself back up. I stopped walking, first of all. I knew that I wanted to make the documentary. I was up there for a reason. I wanted to do it. And so I made a base for myself, and I then started getting in touch with more people and going out and filming every day and learning a bit more about the island that I could use. That first little blip was nice to have because it really pushed me on the track of getting what I wanted. Being up there alone was a massive challenge, having to think of everything the night before, having to go and film it the next day, and then look through it all and make sure you've got everything. It was extremely physically and mentally exhausting. But it's an experience that I'm really glad that I've been able to have. My one takeaway from this project would be to be realistic with the planning. Batteries were dying because it was so cold. I wasn't in a good mental state to sit and plan every evening for the next day. Going off and doing a documentary for 2 weeks on an island that you don't really know, and doing something you've never done before, planning went haywire as soon as I was there. Reality took control, but I took control back, so it's fine. So if you want to check out life on Harris, the crofting, the weaving, and just life on the remote island in the Outer Hebrides, then check out the link here. And if you want to learn about more projects that Screenology make, then click subscribe.